Good morning and welcome. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. It is the 18th day of December 2021. It is 45 degrees and sunny here in Ventura, California. But that could change any second. Happy holidays. I hope you are all doing well this weekend and fully recovered from last night's chill stream. I'm not quite sure Max knows what chill means. We had a lot of stuff come up last night, some of which I was able to address, most of which I wasn't. One of the things, of course, that came up is the continuing spiraling song of weirdness and cacophony of chaos that is the errata lore dump that Wizards of the Coast made a couple days ago. So if you are not up to date on what's going on, over the past year or so, Wizards of the Coast has been slowly saying, oh, we're going to change this, we're going to change that, we changed this, we changed that. Things like the alignment and the monsters being less problematic and the stuff with the orcs and the drow and all that other stuff. So it should not have been a surprise. But to celebrate the end of the year, they compiled all the stuff they'd done before and all the stuff they're planning on doing into one huge data dump, errata dump. And the main thing of the dump was, of course, that a lot of the lore regarding the monsters was changed or gone, especially the more problematic monsters like the drow, orcs, beholders, and mind flayers. Apparently there were individuals who found the idea of mind flayers disturbing, and in order to pursue this idea that from this point on Dungeons & Dragons is going to be system agnostic. So they're abandoning the Forgotten Realms and all the other locations, which of course is utter BS because they still have locations. They have Ravenloft, they have all the Magic the Gathering product. They're still planning on making Magic the Gathering product. They're still setting adventures in the Forgotten Realms. So for them to say we're abandoning all our realms and we're going to go system agnostic, that way we're getting rid of all the lore. So when you build your world, you can tell whatever story you want with Mind Flayers, is of course a lie, because they're still making product that supports certain worlds, especially the Magic the Gathering worlds. In fact, the standing order is still Dungeons & Dragons and Magic the Gathering merging together to create one collective multiverse. So already we see a fault in this. They got rid of a lot of the lore. They got rid of all the lore, especially regarding problematic creatures. So even though Mind Flayers still exist and all these other things still exist, the je ne sais quoi, the engine that makes them what they are, the lore that makes each of them individual, especially the problematic lore regarding many of the evil creatures, is gone. I mean, Mind Flayers are still brain-eating abominations, but there's no explanation as to why. Beholders are still beholders. They still have the same stat block, but there's no explanation to why. At this point, all the monsters and most of the all the player character races pretty much are just, to quote another DM, globs of goo. You can add and subtract whatever you want to them. Your character can be whatever you want it to be. You can take and pick and choose. You can decide whether this glob of glue does or does not eat brains. I mean, even the name Mind Flayer could be considered problematic, so why don't we just get rid of that too? And the whole idea of combat, well, combat is problematic because some people don't want to have combat, so let's just get rid of that. So now we just have stat blocks. Pretty soon they're just going to be nameless stat blocks. Eventually you're going to be GURPS. You're just going to have a bunch of points and a glob of glue, and you can just add and subtract to that glob of glue to build whatever monster you want and tell whatever story you want, because Wizards of the Coast is getting rid of all of its lore. Well, since Wizards of the Coast did that, there has been a lot of backlash. A lot of people are questioning that choice, and Wizards of the Coast has already made 2, now 3, waffling statements as to why they did it, and they're continuing to support their decision because they feel that's what people want. So as of this morning, we have an announcement from the head of D&D, who responds to the alignment changes and backlashes. Ray Winiger, who is the executive producer and head of D&D. I was under the impression that Jeremy Crawford was the executive producer and head of D&D, but I guess this Ray Winiger guy is currently claiming to be the executive producer and head of D&D, has released a statement regarding the meteor of errata and lore changes, clarifying the corrections and further revealing Wizard's stance on some of the problematic passages. So he has attempted to explain the changes and why they made the changes, mostly because of the want to get rid of the campaign-specific lore and want to get rid of the combat or, problematic wording regarding some of these creatures, like orcs being evil or beholders being evil or mind flayers eating brains. They want everything to be more homogeneous, that's his words, and have more, all the moral leanings of the races kind of be sort of the same to whatever Wizards of the Coast feels it is. Remember, Wizards of the Coast can tell you you're not human if they don't feel you follow their moral leanings. They want to do this to encourage their creativity. So this is the third that I know of statement that has come out since the errata dump a few days ago, where multiple individuals in the Wizards of the Coast camp are waffling and explaining why they made this decision. And it all boils down to, well, this is what you guys want, right? Well, if this is what everybody wanted, you wouldn't need to keep defending your stance. And there wouldn't be multiple of outcries saying, why did you do this? I mean, Wizards of the Coast, what the Wizards? Interesting enough, I know a lot of people are thinking, well, it's the Groganards and the old players and the OSR players like yourself, OGGM, who are making these complaints. Except, of course, if it was just the OG players like myself and the OSR players like myself and the Groganards like myself complaining about this, Wizards of the Coast would not feel the need to make 3, as of now, I am going to guess there's going to be more, waffling statements defending why they made their changes. The fact is, most of the questions, most of the complaints, most of the why are not coming from the Groganards and the OSR players. They're coming from 5e players. They're coming from the individuals who you, Wizards of the Coast, say you made these changes for. 5e players are going, why? Pro support of Wizards of the Coast websites are going, why? Wizards of the Coast apologist YouTubers are going, why? Some of the most staunch defenders of Wizards of the Coast, some of the most staunch fans of 5th edition, some of the individuals who've supported this whole let's make D&D less problematic move that Wizards of the Coast is making because they think that's what their buying crowd wants, are going, why did you do this? This makes no sense. Again, if it was just people like me going, hey, I don't think you should change the lore, Wizards of the Coast would go, well, we don't care what you think, and we're going to do this anyways because you're not our target audience. Except, of course, again, it's not people like me, because at this point, people like me have stopped caring. We don't buy your product. We don't support your product unless you are a news commentator like myself. You don't talk about the product. 99.9% of the OSR Groganards don't care about Wizards of the Coast anymore and don't go out of their way anymore to talk about it. Except when you make things like this. We know we're not the target audience. We know you're making the changes. We don't agree with the changes, and we might talk about the changes because they're new-worthy. But at the end of the day, we know you're not your target audience, and we know you don't care what we think. And so if we're the problem, Wizards of the Coast wouldn't feel the need to defend themselves. But Wizards of the Coast is defending themselves over and over again because we're not the ones who are complaining. Wizards of the Coast target audience are the ones who are questioning, why are you doing this? And so they keep feeling the need to defend their choice. They keep feeling the need to say, this is why we did it. And we're backing this stance. It's problematic. Mind flayers aren't evil anymore. Sure, they eat brains, but you know what? They're free range brains. They're non-GMO brains. They're mercilessly, killed brains. They're not the brains of anybody you know. They're gluten-free brains. They're, environmentally friendly brains. Sure, we eat brains, but, we're not bad guys because we eat brains, right? I mean, eating brains is okay because we're not evil anymore. Just let us be weird aliens who experiment on people and eat brains, but we're not bad guys. All this problematic lore that Wizards of the Coast has gotten rid of, which, was some person's artwork, was some person's life work. Somebody dedicated hours of creativity to coming up with this lore for like the Yuan Ti and the Drow and the Mind Flayers and the Hobgoblins and the Pecks and the Flumps. And Wizards of the Coast dumped it and replaced it with this just generic stat block and generic, when you encounter one, here's one of 3 things it might do. And every monster is going to look the same now. It's just going to be a stat block. The 3 attacks it's most likely going to use if combat breaks out. And, of course, since Wizards of the Coast is drifting away from combat-based role-playing, they're going to offer you the way you can have interactive and romansive encounters with Mind Flayers. Because who doesn't want their player character getting it on with a beholder? Yeah, right? All this problematic lore is gone. Wizards of the Coast, you keep having to explain why you did it because the people who are complaining about it is your target audience. You know you made a mistake. Now you're waffling to explain the mistake. You've done it 3 times so far in the past 3 days, and I guarantee you will continue to do it because Wizards of the Coast, you realize you fucked up. That this lore dump was a mistake, and you've done more damage to the product than good. So congratulations, Wizards of the Coast. Not only have you managed to turn every player who played the game from 1974 to 2016 against you, you're now turning your own fan base against you. 5e players are the ones who are saying this is a stupid choice. 5e commentators are the ones who are going, why? If you didn't realize you made a mistake, you wouldn't need to keep waffling and making these explanations. So, yeah, way to go. So there you go. That's the news so far this week. We have some more coming up about some stuff that we talked about last night that I want to follow up on because I didn't really feel I got a chance. So, yeah, way to go, Wizards of the Coast. If you appreciate this and want to hear more, let me know. If you don't ever want to hear me talk about Wizards of the Coast ever again, let me know. If you don't care about what Wizards of the Coast's change are, let me know. If you do change, let me know what you think Wizards of the Coast did wrong and how they can fix it. As always, I am open to your criticism and comments, so please comment down below. Please like, please share, and of course, please subscribe. Help me hit 1,000 subs by the end of the year, which I guess probably isn't going to happen, but you never know. Look forward to whatever comes next. Till then, have a happy holidays and get out of my dungeon.